Welcome everybody to another edition of Collider TV Talk. It is October 11th, 12 days away from my birthday. That's right. That's what I said. 12 days from
Send them presents.
We're gonna send them. Yeah, let's do one of those Amazon wish lists. Look, I would have liked to have started the show with an 80s theme song. We're going to talk about 80s shows a little bit later, but it would have been nice. Remember Give Me a Break with Nell Carter? That's one of my favorites. Give me a break. I sure could use it. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot of DC shows, a lot of news dropped, and then we're going to be reviewing a little bit of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which we haven't talked about in a little bit. So, but I knew if we were talking DC shows, couldn't do it without the great Jason Inman, who is joining us today.
Hello.
Welcome, Jason.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, I love this.
By the way, I want to also thank Collider TV Talk for giving me the amazing gift. Real quick, cut back to Rocha's angle. I can't even say it. Put your hand down there, John. Look at how Kid Flash crotch sits right on his shoulder.
Hell.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pleasant gift in the morning.
It's a dick flick. A dick flick, not a dick flick. Okay, anyway, and also the lovely Grace Hancock.
Oh, hello, everyone. I love to start my day with dicks on shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Guys,
Well, we lost the grandma.
it is hashtag Sensual Wednesday. If you couldn't tell, please tweet me your Twitter questions at Mrs. Graceface, hashtag Collider TV Talk.
Okay. Well, Grace, let's kick it off. What do we have first on the agenda today?
All right. So, Supergirl Season 3 premiere tied a demo series low for the entire series. So this is pretty rough. I wanted to talk to you guys as fans of the show. This clearly means that something from the Season 2 finale was wanting, because that premiere, or that finale rather, had much higher ratings than this premiere, which is kind of odd, because typically when there's a big cliffhanger like that, you're like, you're waiting, and then it comes up, and then it was not great ratings.
Yeah, it's weird because I thought season 2 was good, and they had a lot of stuff going on with Mon-El and all this relationship, and then she, you know, the finale, which if you haven't seen, I don't know what you're doing, but like things happen at the end between that relationship, and we pick up season 3 where she's recovering from that relationship. She's getting lost in her work. We got all these people showing up here. We got Cat Grant with a new job. There's all this stuff happening on, and so to me, I'm like, what's going on here that people lost interest in the show? Was it not promoted well? I mean, we just had a Comic-Con. Did it not have a presence? Like, what was the issue that people didn't come back for the season 3 premiere in the same numbers or higher than they did when they left season 2? Jason?
It might actually be a little bit of a promotional issue, because I remember hearing that all the CW TV shows were premiering this week, and I was like, what, already? Like, it kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
And,
So
you're the host of DC All Access.
And I'm the host of DC All Access. I should be the guy that's not surprised by this, and I was surprised by this. So you could have a whole group of people. But I also wonder, I did love season 2 of Supergirl. I thought it was a step up. It was great. Yeah. But the one storyline that I didn't like was the love romance of Mon-El, and that was a big part of the finale, and I wonder if a grand majority of the audience tuned out because of that, and they were like, I don't need any more of this Mon-El romance, and they've already announced that he is coming back.
Right. Well, it's interesting. It's interesting too, yeah, because if you're going to create a romance like that, and the payoff's going to be a negative payoff, maybe people don't like the way that finale ended. They tuned in to see it. Maybe they're like, oh, they hated the way they played that thing out. Then you feel like you've betrayed the audience a little bit. And this is what happened with Glenn. Remember when Glenn supposedly died and climbed over the dumpster? People were really mad at the show, at Walking Dead, and were hesitant to come back. And so when you play with your audience like that, sometimes you can lose them. And people made a big deal that CW was buying Supergirl off of CBS and was going to put it up and do it right under Berlanti's umbrella. And they may not be doing it the way that the public is gravitating to in a way that they enjoy.
Yeah, the scary thing about this is that we're episode 1 of season 3 of Supergirl. And I'm already worried for season 4. And I want a season 4 for this show. But now, like, if you hit a series low right out the gate, when most of the people, most of the viewers should be hungry for Supergirl, this is worrisome. It'll be interesting to track this over the season. Does it go up? Does it go down? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any part of it that's related to just like a little bit of superhero fatigue, just not necessarily fatigue, but maybe just overwhelming, because, you know, like we were also going to talk about The Gifted's episode 2 had a 20% drop from the pilot, which I really like the pilot. Like I said off air, it's like super, I mean, they like came in hot. I was like, okay, now we're doing this.
The Gifted pilot thing, I think, is almost like what can be expected with any TV show. I think more people are going to tune in for your pilot, and they're going to be like, I don't know, this is not the show for me, and they're going to go away. Now, I think that's a normal drop. I think every series has that drop because every series always has spikes and the finales and the beginnings. But I don't know if it's superhero fatigue because I can't say that until we judge it against the Flash's ratings, maybe, or even Arrow's ratings, or Legends of Tomorrow's ratings. Right. Shows with similar enough seasons, but have been out there
to see if it's like a Supergirl.
Yeah,
issue
do they all drop, or is it just Supergirl?
Yeah, and I wonder what this means for Runaways. Runaways coming out. We'll see what those ratings are like.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, what do we got next?
We will see. All right, and I'm not gonna. I'm so excited. I can't even. I am so thrilled, you guys. One day ahead of its season 1 finale, which is tonight, Mr. Mercedes has been renewed for a 10-episode second run for next year on the Audience Network. David E. Kelley is again going to be writing the scripts, and Jack Bender will be directing. I have been so outspoken about this. This is my favorite new show of this year, of this season. I can't speak highly enough about it. Jason, have you watched some Mr. Mercedes?
I've seen pieces of it. I haven't caught up to it, but like everything about this series I love. Is it Brendan Gleeson?
Yes,
Brendan Gleeson
is
an amazing actor. David E. Kelley has an amazing pedigree from like Boston Legal all the way down. And then Jack Bender, he is a director from Lost, and he directed some of the big episodes of Lost. So everything is, plus the Stephen King connection, everything in this series like hits. And I'm actually really excited that it seems like they're going to go to a season 2. It's going to happen. Now I have to ask you, as a big fan of this series, to me, when they renew the season right before the finale, that means definite cliffhanger.
Well, yeah, for sure. And actually, the penultimate episode, it's one of my favorite words to use, also had a really big cliffhanger. And I was like, tweeting, I'm like, it wasn't him. And spoiler if you haven't, but you should, because what are you doing with your life? But yeah, it's definitely it's going to be a big cliffhanger, so it's probably going to be frustrating. Yeah. But I'm also like happy that obviously the episode was shot before this ever happened, so nothing's going to be changed because they're like, oh, season 2. But I'm thrilled. Rocha, what are you excited for? What are your thoughts?
Because I'm getting notes from friends here. It's apparently it's part of a trilogy, Mr. Mercedes. So maybe they're picking up and going to. So maybe they're only going to do 3 seasons of this, or stretch out the trilogy, what's in the trilogy, into multiple seasons. But we obviously know if it's called Mr. Mercedes can't die tonight. So what's I mean, if we're going to keep calling it Mr. Mercedes.
I like your logic,
I mean, he kind of has to keep living.
I see what you did there.
Right, that's why it bothered me that they announced this before the season finale, because maybe you can at least fool yourself into thinking maybe Mr. Mercedes dies tonight or something happens and you continue with Brendan Gleeson's character, or does Brendan Gleeson's character die and they replace him with
and that's it. Maybe we don't know. Maybe season 2 gets, maybe it can be like an American Horror Story, Colt. Like maybe they change it.
And
we don't know.
And with the Stephen King story, you could do any of those options. Like it could be a brand new Mr. Mercedes, could be a brand new cop, and it would still fit.
True.
It would still fit in.
Yeah, because I haven't read the books for the trilogy, so I don't know, which I like to do. I'd rather be shocked every week with the show.
Well, and I'm excited that they're coming back because I love the show and I enjoy the show. My only concern is, remember the killing? The killing in season 1, people on AMC, people stayed with it, and then they didn't resolve the death. They didn't resolve it at the last season, and people were super pissed. And it spent the rest of its next 3 seasons trying to earn the public's attention and affection for the show back, and it never really got there. So much that it ended on a last season on Netflix that was not that great. So that's what I'm concerned about with Mr. Mercedes is if they don't pay it off in a way that's interesting and exciting, then you might lose the audience.
Yeah, I mean, the show's definitely going to be one of those shows where I say that it had a perfect season 1 for me. And The Killing is honestly up there for me too. I thought season 1 of The Killing was of the American one to be specific, was just like so. I was like, and also The Following. I felt like season 1 of The Following was amazing, and then it just petered out and went to crazy.
Bloodline's another series, exactly kind of same tone, and just like great first season, but then kind of falters.
Yeah, and totally all my types of shows. Like, just give me like the weird, dark stuff, you guys. And I just love it. All right, but shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay, so Apple is nearing pickup of a reboot of Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories, which aired from 1985 to 1987 on NBC. Kind of a heartfelt Twilight Zone kind of jam. I know that we talk a lot about kind of reboot fever on this show. Do you guys think that this is deserving of a reboot? Is this something you tune into?
This is something weird that's happening. Spielberg is starting to come back in a way that, like, he's always been around, but now we're hearing his name attached to numerous projects. And this is something that's, I grew up loving Amazing Stories. My favorite one, for those of you who are watching will remember, is the one where the gunner, the World War II one with the gunner in the turret, and they couldn't get him out, and they all say goodbye to him, and then they found a way and then it becomes this like animated thing right at the last moment. So the Amazing Stories, if you haven't seen it, was basically a touchy-feely Twilight Zone type show, and it was multiple stories, and these artists were all, George Lucas, all these people were involved in it that were friends of Steven Spielberg, or at least co-workers of Steven Spielberg in the business, or contemporaries of Steven Spielberg, and they came and did this fantastic fantastical stories that taught you lessons, but also explored like what you can do in a medium like that in a limited amount of time. They're almost mini films. And so for me, this is exciting because if you're going to reboot anything like this, reboot something that stokes the creative fires of directors and producers and actors today and writers today, it's an exciting thing.
And this is almost easier to reboot than most narrative storytelling.
Because of like the anthology.
Yeah, because you can slot anybody in, and this is agreed. Like I've seen this show as well, and I love it. It's so great. It had many episodes written by Richard Matheson, and if you don't know who author Richard Matheson is, please go look it up. He wrote I Am Legend, the book. The book. Nothing. But yeah, this is great. Can you imagine, like, if Spielberg is Brian Fuller producing this?
Yes,
correct?
Brian Fuller's producing.
If Brian Fuller can pull in some of his friends, like, Brian Fuller is friends with James Gunn. There could be a James Gunn directed episode of this. Like, there could be some very interesting stories. And this is one of those TV reboots that I'm actually really excited for.
I mean, I feel like this is a totally. I did not watch the original show. I will definitely have to tune in. But this kind of format sounds like something that's perfect for right now, and it is so much easier with everybody's schedules and kind of the industry, like the working people of the industry does feel like it's shrinking. Like it is about like this many people doing everything. So this kind of format is perfect because people can be like, well, I can't commit to a series, but I can do one.
Right.
Which is awesome.
And it's interesting, John, you brought up the point of how Steven Spielberg's sort of being attached to everything. Here's a question for you. Do you think he's sort of taking some notes from J.J. Abrams, who has been attached to everything ever, and he's like, I like what that director guy's doing.
Yeah, maybe. But I also think as artists, we go in cycles. You know, I'm saying like artists go in cycles, right? Like
you heard it here, John Steven Rocha equals Steven Spielberg.
That's right. Yeah. No, I mean artists go in cycles, right? They get inspired by certain things, and all of a sudden they go back in and start working on multiple projects because they've been inspired. Maybe there was life events that were going on. He didn't feel the need to be as invested, have his fingers in as many pies, so to speak. And so now he wants to do that again. So I'm all for it, and I would love for this to happen. And Brian Fuller, coming off the debacle that was Star Trek Discovery, his involvement of it, it's nice to see him jump onto something like this and maybe bring it back to life and earn some more goodwill in the industry. So yeah.
I'm just so happy to have Steven Spielberg himself here on Collider TV Talk. We're moving up in the world, people. Who knew?
Well, actually,
All right, and we're going to talk to my knowledge, the first time about Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Fox. It is just 5 seasons of pure glorious joy.
Yes.
Last night was season 5, episode 3. So Jake is out of prison. His name is cleared. He's back on duty. Rose is emotionally unavailable. It's all the things you know and love. Rocha, what did you think? I adored this show so much.
I do too. And you know, the thing is, it's really hard to keep a comedy going into a 5th season.
Yeah,
and
strong.
Strong, right, exactly. And they had little excursions out to Florida. So they've tried to expand the show into different states, different situations, and they always put Jake in prison or sending him away on undercover stuff. They're always messing around with Jake, but it always works best when you deal with the precinct and you deal with the detective stories, whatever they're pursuing, because their comedy is just brilliant, and this was a no exception. His interactions with Lutrulio and with Andre Braugher, they're just great, and that's what the heart of the show is. Melissa Fumero, Stephanie Beatrice, Terry Crews, they're all great. They adorn the show really, really well, and their storylines are all, but everything feeds off Andy Samberg, and I thought Samberg brought it because there's a humanity to Andy's acting when he does this character that I really thoroughly enjoy, and that's the difference that separates it. You can do sarcastic, smart-ass comedy, but you need to have heart to keep people coming back week after week, and Jake Peralta has that heart in that last moment when he says to Andre Braugher's character, he's like, I'm hesitant to put people in prison now because I've experienced it, and he's like, yeah, that means you're growing, and that's like out of nowhere in some stupid comedy that could make dick jokes all day and all night. It still has this heart, and I respect that for it. So blah blah blah. That's
it's a very endearing character, and it's funny. I feel like a lot of shows going into a 5th season, there's always like that weird like 3rd season curse. I don't remember ever feeling that with this show, and I remember when this first came out, me and my sister were like, yeah, we'll check it out, and then we were like, we are obsessed. And now it's like 5 seasons later, it's still just as strong, and I feel like the ensemble casting, like you were saying, is just so good, and the particular flavor of humor is just so fantastic. Like Ray Holt is just a national treasure. Like he is so good, and I can't. And you know what? Also, none of the actors, to my knowledge, have really like departed. It's been like a really solid team for like almost the whole thing, which is huge now.
Because they're all character actors and they work really well in their own way. And Samberg does excursions into starring films like we saw with Pop Star. He does his thing, but he doesn't need to. And Lonely Island, he has his side projects that he does, but this is the main show. And if I was on a show like this, I wouldn't want to go do anything else either. It seems like they have incredible amount of fun.
Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah. So
there we go. Jason doesn't watch the show. So
watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, people.
I've never seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I want to apologize to my friend Daniel Beals, who works in the show. I'm sorry.
Oh,
see,
there's too many superhero shows.
There's a
Daniel,
lot of
you need new friends. All right, and we're gonna go back to superhero land. Last night, The Flash season 4 premiere. You know, I'm gonna out myself right now. This is maybe the second episode of the show that I watched.
Right.
It was a little what? Ever.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Should I just?
No.
Is that the door? Thank you, guys. But you know what? We were talking about this, that you don't like the humor. I actually was, I chuckled a few times.
That's interesting.
Because it's kind of the campy, like I could get on board with that.
The Flash is like one of the shows of the CW shows that would support humor better than some of the other ones. You can't have humor. Like Arrow's like, he's murdering people. Yeah. And you can't have it be like, how you doing, buddy? You know, you can't, but what about humor on The Flash do you not like?
I feel like they're pushing it too far that it's becoming almost slapstick. Okay. And it takes away from I hate to say this word, but the seriousness of some of the storylines. I mean, look at
this costume, man.
Yeah, I know, but that's the costume.
You
got
a dick on your shoulder. This isn't serious.
Look at his junk on your shoulder.
I know, yeah, and it is from the comic book. And you were saying
Flash,
that people who were kind of the true comic fan, like it is kind of the flavor of the way that the comics are.
The Flash is a very bouncy, fun character, and of the 4 heroes, like he's the one that's like he's coming in there and he fights a gorilla for God's sakes.
Yeah,
you know,
for God's sakes.
That's like the best ending. I mean, he fights a gorilla. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna just add that into everyday life.
Yeah, but I didn't like this premiere.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys because you guys are fans of the show.
Yeah.
You watched every episode. Yeah. You were disappointed?
Yeah, because he's always going away in these cliffhangers, and they're always finding some cop out to bring him back. And I would like more, just something that was more logical in their reasoning for bringing him back. Cisco's just like, I just missed my friend. This ain't Shawshank Redemption, son. You know, like this. He's trying to save the world in the Speed Force, but. I do like the way he was acting when he came back, but I thought it was cheesy that they were like, "Hey, Iris is in danger. Oh, I'll snap out of it and go get her." I'm like, no, this guy is putting different words and different meanings of different words. He's talking, he's drawing stuff. Like, tell me what that is. And then when they snap him out of it, he doesn't remember what it is. And it's like, okay.
Like there was no payoff for why he was behaving.
Yeah, love doesn't always solve everything. I hate to break it to you. Love doesn't always solve everything.
Not on The Flash.
Yeah, exactly. It's more of a detriment. Like, don't fall in love.
Yeah. I loved this episode. There we go. I thought it was great. I thought this was the best season premiere of The Flash has ever had.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
I really do. Now, I totally understand all your points, John, but for me, the season finale where a cloud of lightning just showed up and was like, yeah, you're coming with us for 6 months.
You and your mom.
Even more stupid than anything I saw in this episode. So I was willing to, I was like, no, we need Barry back fast because get him out of that stupid plot line really quick. But I thought it was bouncy. It was fun. The Flash last season kind of forgot the show it was. It is a fun superhero quippy show where he fights lame villains and he has a family that helps him through it. Right. And this episode seemed the most like season 1 of The Flash, the show that everybody loved. Yeah. It's like it walked back through the door and I was like, oh man, I've missed you for 3 years. Thank you for coming back. There were too many puns by Cisco.
I will refute that till the day I die. Puns are great.
Yeah. And I agree with you that Barry does become normal Flash really quickly. But the show is called The Flash and Barry's The Flash. Were we surprised?
I see what you did there. Also punny.
But I am excited that the Thinker is now involved. It's no longer a speed person, no longer Speedster's
and
going to be the villain.
And he looked good in that final scene.
He did. And I love them giving the shout out to the comic book fans with the Samuroids. And
Samuroids
out of nowhere with no Baron Katana behind them, but I did like that. So I am going to keep coming back. I love The Flash. So to me, I was just a little disappointed, but I get it.
I actually also, just real quick, for anybody that has the similar thoughts to John, I felt in this episode, and I was trying to make notes as well during some of this episode because I feel they dropped a lot of Easter eggs for the entire season.
Probably,
And I have a feeling that they're going to keep coming back to Barry's crazy talk a lot.
Yeah. You know what's crazy talk? You beating me in the Schmodown. That's crazy talk.
Because I'm whooping an ass. All right, let's
go. It's going to happen.
I'm going to take the steering wheel back real fast. So we are going to continue to live in superhero land, but not Schmodown land. And we're going to go over to Legends of Tomorrow Season 3 premiere.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this? How is this setting the stage? What were your thoughts?
I think they'll call me a legend after I beat John Rocha. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Okay. So I think it's funny. I think we talked a little bit about this off camera. I think we're gonna flip on this. I was not a fan of this season premiere. I was a little let down because the season, and it's tough with season premieres because you always, I feel, have to connect it sort of back to the season finale. The season finale last season was amazing of Legends of Tomorrow. They fought the Reverse Flash. They broke time. There were dinosaurs everywhere. And I felt, yeah, there were dinosaurs there. You're forgetting dinosaurs and gorillas. And I felt this season premiere, they solved the problem with the dinosaurs a little too quickly and I know I was just saying that about Barry, but I was like, come on, give me a whole episode of dinosaurs. So I know I'm sounding a little hypocritical here, but that was a little let down by that.
Well,
I mean, who doesn't say yes to dinosaurs?
Yeah.
I'm with you, Rocha.
Perry certainly does, which is Jurassic Park love. Listen, I love Legends of Tomorrow. This show you can quip all day and all night.
Yes.
I don't take it seriously, and because I don't take it seriously, I get to sit back and enjoy the cast. That's what sells me on the show.
The cast is so strong.
The cast is strong,
Yep.
and their chemistry is fantastic. And Katie Lotz, I want to say this publicly. I absolutely love you. If any moment you find me in the street, I would like to take you to dinner or a drink.
Oh.
You're a fantastic actress, and you're really powerful, and you do all your own stunts on the show.
She does.
And that's amazing as well. You're a former singer. You're a former, you have laid your groundwork in the entertainment industry, and I love how you take command in this show. And the scene between you and Caesar after you've kicked his butt and you're in the prison cell, and he's like, with you, I could rule the world. You'd be my queen. And you were like, yeah, I don't even need you to rule the world. That was brilliant. So all of the stuff that they played out with and I love the time stuff going on. Of course, it's a great Doctor Who thing. Like in my head, I'm always with Rory and all that. Like the fact that he's a time master, whatever they call him. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. This is so Doctor Who. So I enjoy all of that. And I love what Dominic Purcell is doing. Purcell does great with that. That's my guy. I connect to that guy.
You connect with the pyromaniac?
Yeah, that's my id. He's my id. Like, I would like to be that dude because he gives no Fs and he does what he wants to do.
You are 100% right. Like the reason why you watch Legends of Tomorrow is that cast, and the cast always delivers. That is one of the things that Legends of Tomorrow has that many of the other CW DC shows don't have, is because the cast is so strong, you can sometimes make it through weaker episodes just based off the cast. And I will say, I will give you that. I did have fun with this premiere because of the cast. I was a little bit disappointed with the plot reasons, but also I was really excited that Arthur Darvill, Rip Hunter, showed up again because last finale they kind of wrote him off the show. Like, they were like bye, and so when he showed up again, I was like, yes, don't leave the show. You're like one of the best actors on it.
You can't take Rip Hunter off the show. No. Even if he has to come back every few episodes, that's fine. But you can't take him off the show. You need that guy to stabilize the show.
He's the Rock. But you are exactly right, and I hope Katie Lotz find him on Twitter. He's a lovely gentleman and also a veteran.
I'm sure she. Well, yes, but I'm sure she finds better looking men for her to date. Yes. Just want to say I love her to death and I enjoy her work. All right.
And here we are, Tinder Wednesdays on Collider TV Talk. Find us online.
Every Wednesday, you should. I think it should be Lots Wednesdays now.
Yeah,
I think you should do another until you get her on the show.
Oh my God,
she's lovely. She's
We're just
very
gonna,
nice and she's lovely.
Bully her on the internet.
Yeah.
We're like, you have to date John Rocha.
No. Just a coffee. Just a coffee. Anyway, all right. What do we got? Twitter questions.
All right. So we might do two, but I wanted to do this one in honor of Mr. Mercedes, which is perfect. We're going to go with our friend at Robbie Haskell. Would a Stephen King anthology series work on Netflix, each book taking an entire season each? Would you like to see that? The answer is absolutely yes. What are your thoughts?
I think it would depend on the books. Some of the books I think are specifically really designed for movies more than television shows. Now, would I love to see a full season of The Stand? Yes, because I think it would work on television more than a movie. But I don't really need to see another adaptation of Carrie. You know, or even Cujo,
or like Under the Dome,
or Under the Dome. So I don't. Depending on if they made it limited and they were like, well, it's only going to be these 5 books and they have slight connections, then I would say yes.
Yeah. That's okay. That was a much more intelligent answer than mine, so thanks for making me look bad. Rocha?
Well, we're already getting something like this with Castle Rock.
Yeah.
Right, where they're interconnecting. So shout out to my friend Andre Holland, who is in that show, so I'm excited for him. But I agree. I think it would depend on the book choices, and it would depend on who the overall producer and showrunner of this show would be. If you find the right person, then I'm on board. I'll trust that you'll pick the right directors, right writers, and right stories to tell. So I would love to do that, absolutely, because I do think you could stretch out The Stand. You could stretch out Tommyknockers. You could stretch out a bunch of his other...
Tommyknockers is a good choice.
Right? You could stretch out a bunch of his other stuff, even go back into his Richard Bachman stories and stretch the shorter ones out to an entire season. You know, so there's a lot to play with Stephen King. In his toolbox, there's a lot to play with. So I would be absolutely down with that.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest reasons that Mr. Mercedes is such a good fit for Audience Network is because it is that like AT&T DirecTV kind of like thing where they can say the F word. It's racy because the material is racy. It's not racy for racy's sake. Like sometimes you run into with like HBO a little bit. It's like we're HBO boobs, and you're like, we get it. But Mr. Mercedes, I mean, the source material is.
Please, someone gift that.
Yeah, please. Old-timey guy going boobs.
Don't give that. But I think it does work, because it does, and Netflix does the same thing. It allows for a little more like pushback on network TV or anything like that. So yeah, that's what I got. You want to do a little pick of the day?
Yes, pick of the day. I wanted to throw out this idea because we were talking about amazing stories on the show. I thought, well, if you could go reboot a show from the 80s, what would it be and on what network? So I want to throw you guys, like they've tried to reboot like Knight Rider. They've tried to reboot 80s. We see them with 21 Jump Street. We see that going on there. So,
look,
Grace has a choice.
I mean, we talked about this off air. This isn't my final answer. We're going to go to you first. But
sure.
I want to say Golden Girls, but it would just be Grace and Frankie. So I kind of already have my reboot.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? But I have another answer, though. What's yours?
I'm going to go with a show that I am surprised hasn't been rebooted or made into a movie so far. Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
The Scott Bakula time travel show. I think it would work perfectly as a streaming show, Hulu, Netflix, wherever you want to park it, Amazon. Yeah. I think it's a perfect model for that. And I think since the original series, spoilers for a show that ended in like 93, Scott Bakula
Great year for television.
Scott Bakula never makes it home.
Yes,
he's lost in the time stream.
True.
So I think the perfect reboot is make it about his son searching for his dad.
Boom.
Yep.
Oh,
boy.
And call it The Flash.
Yep.
He's stuck in the Speed
Call it
Force.
The Flash.
Well, I pulled up this amazing little, you can't see, but I'm just obviously going to go with this. I'm going to have to go with Growing Pains because, because Growing Pains. I don't know how it would, I don't want it to be like Fuller House though, where it's like Leo's all grown up and it's like his kids. Like,
Is
I don't
Robin
like
Thicke
that.
the dad?
I wish.
Just saying.
Oh, wait, no, I was thinking of Alan Thicke. Oh, no, Robin Thicke is not invited to my movie.
No.
I was like all sad. I was like, no. But just something like that that's just like got all the nostalgic feels for.
This is my show. Keep on watching.
Yeah.
No, get out of here. No. It's so funny you said that because my choice was Family Ties. I absolutely effing love Family Ties. I still watch it when I stumble upon it on any of the TV Land networks or networks that showed because it's a conservative kid in a liberal house.
Yep.
You were able to have both sides spoken, and I think now in our current political climate, that'd be brilliant to do a show like this. Show both sides, show them coming together, show how to compromise, show that we can move. You could even make it like This Is Us, where it's like 3 adopted kids held by these 2 hippies, and then one of them is a conservative or one of them is whatever they are, and you can explore all these issues in a funny way that still has heart to it. And Family Ties always did that for me. And it's part of the reason why I didn't 100% like Growing Pains, because I felt it was a bit of a copy of Family Ties. So Family Ties came first. But if I had seen Growing Pains first, I probably would have loved Growing Pains and not been such a fan of Family Ties. But Family Ties is the one that grabbed me. Michael J. Fox, Justine Bateman, Tina Yothers, all of them on there.
You could maybe convince Michael J. Fox to come back.
I'm sure you
flip
could.
the show, make him the
would
dad.
watch that show.
You could
probably
make
could.
him. You could even play it out and make him be the Tom Hanks character, who was the uncle that they all loved him, but in the end he was like this guy who was playing them for a fool and have those moments. So there was a lot there. That scene between him and Tracy Pollan, that storyline, all of it was just great. And so for me, I would love to see a reboot of that. And I think in our current climate, it's time. Let's do something that inspires people, brings people back together instead of separates people or divides people. So
sure.
Sorry, I don't mean to go soapbox.
Again, beautiful answer. I'm like, I just liked Growing Pains. Like, but yeah, that's it from me. What do you?
Okay,
Should we wrap this party up?
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching this episode of Collider TV Talk. It has been a blast to be filling in for Josh McCougar. I think I have a couple of more of these left, and then I got to say goodbye. But it has been a fun time, and I'm very happy that Jason Inman was able to join us today.
Yay,
Jason, please tell us where they can find you.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Jawin, Jawin, and I do a weekly, like, full in-depth Flash review and Arrow review every single week. So if you need more than just 3 minutes, they're 20 minutes long. So gird yourself, but they're fun.
Follow Jason for 17 more minutes of superheroes, and I'm Grace Hancock. You guys can find me online everywhere at Mrs. Graceface.
Oh, yeah, and you guys can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram, and you can find me really soon kicking that man's butt in the Schmodown. First round,
Nope,
16 versus 1. The 16 seed never beats a 1 seed. Everyone knows that.
The Golden Girl, the Schmodown has to go away.
Oh, that's it. All right. As long as I can be Rue McClanahan.
Spoiler alert! I love you, Cody.
Because I say Tiger Lily, I say Tiger Lily. No, anyway, I love Golden Girls. One of the best shows on television. All right, thanks everybody for watching us. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. Have a great day. Put down the book. Pick up the remote.
Hey everybody, Josh McCouga here. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Collider TV Talk. Want to watch more episodes? Click there. It's an interactive link. Or for more Collider content, click down there. Subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends. Get an airplane. Drive it by that says Collider. I'm not telling you to buy an airplane. Just do whatever you want as long as you're watching Collider video.